Hello and welcome back to the Data Privacy Lawyer. My name is Funmi Owolabi and I'm the principal attorney at the firm. Today's review, we're going to be looking at some AI terms. So I'm just going to quickly hover over what products they have. So it seems like IPRally's AI-powered platform for modern patent professionals. Interesting. Explore how our features simplify patent search and analysis. Okay, cool. So I guess I have a little bit of a sense of what the product is. Let's have a look at solutions. Solutions are for the patent searcher, patent analyst, patent manager, patent attorney, right? Very interesting. So I feel like this is something that a lot of lawyers are maybe going to be using. So that's fun. Now, the reason we're reviewing this as a privacy law firm is because artificial intelligence in some capacity is going to implicate the data protection obligations a business has. I think that's the best way I can put it. I want to talk about why there's an implication. This is a solution that's being offered to all of these individuals. A patent attorney is a person. If they are accessing this product for modern patent professionals indicates to me that there's going to be individuals that utilize this tool. Now, I don't know how the product operates. Whenever I advise to clients, I always ask them to provide me insights into what the platform actually does so that I can get a full overview of how it implicates privacy. However, at a minimum, we are going to be looking at the personal details of a patent attorney, patent manager, patent analyst, right? So at least the patent analyst is probably going to provide their name into the solution. And they're probably going to provide maybe their job title because they've passed it out here. If I say, my name is Funmi Owolabi and I'm the principal attorney at my firm, you as my viewer can now identify me with my name, and you can also identify my title, that I'm the principal lawyer. If you put those two details into Google, you can find out more information about me. That's how this relates to personal data. If I input that into this product is then processing that information about me, right? So in order for me to log into this tool, I'm pretty sure that they don't give access to just anybody. In order for them to identify that it is Funmi that is logging into this IPRally tool, I have to put my name and probably my title, and they've listed who their solution is for. So these individuals are going to be putting in their information. These are not legal entities like in terms of a business. This is going to be an individual person who is a patent attorney. They're going to need to input those details. In that respect, this AI is going to need to process that information in accordance with the data protection laws where this is offered. So let's say, for example, the patent attorney is located in China. The responsibilities that this organization has is going to reflect what the Chinese data protection laws require. And they need to make sure that if their solution is being offered in certain geographies, they're looking at what the privacy laws say that they have to adhere to and are making sure that those are clear in their AI terms. In addition to that, there is AI legislation in lots of geographies that need to be taken into consideration. So in the drafting of the terms and conditions by a business, they need to be looking at not just the privacy terms because there is a personal data component. They need to look at the overlap with the AI obligations that they have in those geographies and memorialize those in their terms. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the review. There is no AI that is not going to process personal data in some capacity. I am intrigued about where it will be in the future, but at least in 2026, there is going to be personal data. Let's take a look at some of the terminologies. I love this. I'll tell you why I love this. I've talked a lot in other AI reviews about how I think it's so necessary for businesses or suppliers who are providing AI in some capacity to provide definitions. This is a very new field for a lot of customers. And if they don't have a dedicated privacy or AI counsel to assist them in their review, it's the responsibility, as far as I'm concerned, for the supplier to provide different definitions so that customers who are not familiar with different concepts are able to make a risk-based assessment on the potential of using a supplier or engaging with a supplier. Not everybody has access to legal counsel to help them understand their risks. So having a definition in your terms is really valuable for whoever is in your contract process to be able to understand how it is you use the tool and then evaluate it from a perspective. Generative AI functionalities are always marked with a specific identifier like an icon. You will see the identifier always before you choose to use or enable for use such functionalities or as an admin user. Now, I'm going to highlight this quickly because we know that at least there's going to be personal data of an individual being processed. We've already identified that with who the solutions are for. there's an admin user of the customer who enables such functionalities for multiple or users. So they're going to be processing a lot of people's information. So we've got things like current and planned generative AI functionalities are these: use of external services and in-cloud services. Generative AI models are large, and their hosting with meaningful service bandwidth can be expensive. While our long-term aim is to host all models and services within our cloud environment, we may choose to use model hosting services that operate outside of the cloud environment. Now, you might be wondering, why is the sentence here? The sentence is here because, let's talk about from a privacy perspective. This sentence is here because what they are indicating to the customer from a privacy perspective is that there could be subsequent third parties that process your information. And the data protection laws in most geographies states that businesses need to be transparent about the subprocessors that they utilize in order to provide you the service, which is why, and hopefully in 2026 we'll be able to come across some of this. I'm going to start doing a display of a subprocessor list, one that needs improvements, and then my recommendations based on my insight in this industry. But essentially, every business is going to interact with a different business in some capacity, whether the capacity is as a customer, whether it's as a subprocessor. But essentially, the reason that it's important to retain this type of sentence is because when you do your due diligence as a customer, like you're a business, right? You want to know, is my interaction or engagement with this business going to be something that is good for our entity, right? You always think about your company. How can I protect my company from risk? Now, you can't do business without personal data. So you know that for a fact. If you're going to be giving your personal data to a third party in order for them to provide a service, you want to make sure that it's in good hands. So you need to do something called due diligence, and that's part of your privacy program. You should have an internal document that says, hey, this is the due diligence that we do within our company to protect our company, because any mishap that occurs related to personal data can be very, very expensive. Now, let's get back to my discussion about why this sentence exists in this terms, based on my opinion. This sentence exists because they need to be transparent with you, the customer, to be able to let you know that not only will they process your personal data, but they may use an external party, a subprocessor, to process that information. Now, process is a very broad terminology in the data protection space. It basically means any operation or set of operations on personal data, which includes storage. If this company is going to engage another third party in order to store your data, that is a processing activity that you want to know because you're managing things from a risk perspective. They also need to account for that in their record of processing activity, which is a specific privacy documentation that's required under certain data protection laws that outlines all the processing activities that a company does. So I don't want to go too much into that, but that's why this sentence exists. Whenever you have a privacy counsel review your terms from a risk perspective, we essentially review sentence by sentence to see the implications on your business, which is why I personally generally distribute a very extensive intake form when a client is asking for my services, because the more I know about your business, the better I'm able to advise you, specifically when it comes to the use of artificial intelligence within your business. Because this review is not something that's done exclusively by a privacy counsel. You may also want to look at a trademark counsel, general contracting counsel. We all provide different features to ensure that your business is kept safe. So I think you need to look at things from a risk perspective. What's of great importance to you as a business? Is it making sure that your privacy program is optimized in a way that you're able to continue your business operations without the risk of an investigation or an enforcement action by a regulator based on the fact that you've stated certain things in your public-facing documentation that are not actually what's happening in practice within the organization? So I really hope you enjoyed this simple review. If you have any comments or questions about what I've spoken about today, leave a comment below and I will see you in another review.